Stride Audio Show.
Presented by Speak English with Us.
Quick question. When someone says, "Weekend okay," do you answer well or do you just freeze?
Oh, that tiny question can feel huge, and then the room gets weirdly quiet.
This is a B1 level episode, perfect for intermediate learners. Beginners, you're welcome too.
And here's the painful part. You understood the words, but your brain still went blank.
At the office breakfast table, that moment can feel brutal. Someone smiles, says, "Busy week?" And you've got nothing but, "Yeah, a bit."
I've done that. And then I stared into my coffee like it had answers.
Or you're at a birthday party, everyone's laughing, and you want to join in. But you can't find the first move.
Right. And the worst part is, you're not confused by English, you're confused by the social rhythm.
Today, we're fixing that gap. We're not just learning replies. We're learning how English small talk actually moves.
And there is one thing we discovered. The problem usually isn't vocabulary, it's attention.
Instead of staring at your own next sentence, you need to notice what the other person gave you. A word, a mood, a tiny detail.
That's the shift. When you catch their clue, the conversation stops feeling like a test.
Quick check, are you more likely to say one word or add one detail? Just think of it right now.
Don't answer out loud if you're in public, unless you want people to worry about you.
Stay until the end for our word tour, 5 expressions that help you sound smoother and more natural.
And later, we'll give you one tiny trick for turning a short answer into a real exchange. But first, let's look at the moments that make small talk feel so awkward.
You might already be picturing the scene, the office kitchen, the queue at the coffee shop, the neighbor saying hi by the elevator.
And in all of those moments, the pressure is the same. Say something normal, say it fast, and don't make it strange.
That's why this episode matters. Because small talk isn't small when your heart starts racing.
Exactly. We're going to make it feel lighter, clearer, and far less like a pop quiz.
Let's start with the scene everyone knows. You're in the office kitchen and someone says, "Weekend, okay?"
And your brain does that awful little blank out. Your face stays polite, but inside you're scrambling.
You say, "Yeah, good," and then the conversation lands like a chair with one leg.
That image is painfully accurate. The sound of nothing after one tiny answer.
This is where interaction alignment matters.
That sounds academic, but it's actually simple. It means people tend to mirror each other's energy, pace, and level of detail.
So if they give you a light question, you don't need a giant speech. You just need to match the rhythm.
Right. You keep it light, but you don't keep it empty.
Let's make that concrete. If someone asks, "Busy week?" don't say only yes.
Say, pretty busy, but I finally cleared my inbox last night. That gives them a door back in.
Exactly. Short answer plus one detail.
That extra detail is like opening a window. The conversation can breathe.
And the moment you stop thinking, "What should I say?" and start thinking, "What did they give me?" everything gets easier.
I used to treat small talk like a math exam, which is a terrible hobby for the brain.
Absolutely. And then you'd panic over a phrase like, "How's your morning?" as if it were a philosophical trap.
Exactly. And that's how people end up sounding like a robot with a coffee cup.
Let's talk about the real hidden skill, attention distribution.
Basically, you're splitting your attention between two jobs. One ear on the other person, one eye on the next opening.
Not perfect performance, just enough presence to catch a clue.
Maybe they mention a run, a meeting, a cold, a trip, or a late night. Any of those can become your next move.
Right? If they say, "I had a long day," you can say, "Sounds rough. Was it meetings or travel?"
That's not being nosy. That's chime in energy. You're joining, not interrogating.
Nice, and yes, chime in is one of our useful phrases later, but the idea is already here.
You're basically tossing your voice into the circle without stealing the microphone.
Now let's do a mini practice. Imagine a neighbor says, "Lovely weather today, isn't it?"
You can answer, "Yeah, it finally feels like spring. I was so done with the cold."
Then you add, "Have you been out much? Or are you enjoying it too?"
That tiny second move changes everything. Now you're not just reacting, you're extending.
The other key is go along with the tone.
If they're joking, joke a little. If they're calm, stay calm. Don't swing the energy somewhere weird.
I once answered a cheerful cashier with a dramatic complaint about my email inbox. Very efficient, very awkward.
Wow, that's the social equivalent of bringing a trumpet to a whisper.
When people ask something small, they usually want something easy back.
So keep it light, stay warm, and give them one detail they can grab.
Let's test that with 3 real moments. First, at a birthday party, someone says, "How do you know the host?"
You can say, "We worked together last year, and she's the reason I know half the people here."
Second, at the coffee shop, the barista says, "Big day?"
Try. A little, "I've got one meeting and too much caffeine."
Third, in a hallway, a colleague says, "Rough morning?"
You can answer, "A bit, but I'm back on track now." Simple, human, easy to continue.
And if you listen closely, those answers all do the same job. They receive the question, add a small detail, and leave space.
That space is where connection happens.
Here's the trap, though. Many learners think they need a brilliant line.
They don't. They need a usable line.
A usable line is one that another person can answer without effort.
Exactly. And that's why "pretty good, I finally slept well last night" works better than "fine."
You can hear the difference, right? The second one gives texture.
And texture invites response. That's the whole game.
So here's your first practice challenge. Hear the next small question you get and answer with a detail plus a return question.
No speeches, no overthinking, just one bridge.
And by the way, there's a phrase for this. It's called break the ice. We'll break it down later.
For now, just remember, if the first line is soft, your reply can be soft too. And that is enough to keep the room open.
Here's the real question. Do you actually need a clever line to handle small talk well?
I think you do. Otherwise, you just sound flat, and flat gets forgotten.
I don't buy that. Most people don't remember cleverness first. They remember whether you felt easy to talk to.
Easy to talk to is nice, sure. But if you give the same safe answer as everyone else, you're invisible.
Invisible isn't the same as bad. Sometimes small talk is just a doorway, not a performance.
But if it's only a doorway, why bother? Why not say the one polished thing and move on?
Because the goal isn't to impress every stranger in 30 seconds. The goal is to make the other person feel there's somewhere to go next.
That sounds nice, but in real life, people are busy. If your answer is too mild, they might just leave it there.
That's where alignment comes back in. You meet the tone, then gently expand it.
You're saying the trick is matching first, then moving? That feels safer than chasing a brilliant sentence.
Exactly. And when you match first, you're also giving yourself time to notice what they handed you.
Okay, but what if I don't notice fast enough? The silence still happens, and silence feels like failure.
Silence feels bigger than it is. Most people are not timing you with a stopwatch.
Maybe not, but it still feels like the ceiling drops 2 inches.
Fair. So let's argue the practical version. You think a sharp line saves the moment. I think a responsive line keeps the moment alive.
I still think sharpness matters, A little wit can break the ice faster than a polite little sentence.
Sure, but wit without connection can feel like showing off. If someone says, long week, and you answer with a joke that misses their mood, you lose them.
Then maybe the answer is better jokes. Why not learn to be quick and funny?
Because not every context wants funny. At a funeral, in a tense office, or with a tired neighbor, funny can go the wrong way fast.
Okay, that's a strong point. But small talk in most places is social energy, and energy needs some spark.
I agree that spark helps. I just don't think it has to be sparkle. A little detail can do the job.
Like what?
Someone says, "How was your weekend?" You can say, "Pretty good. I finally slept well last night." That's enough to invite a real reply.
That's ordinary, but not dead. I can see that.
And if they say, "Busy day," you can add, "Yeah, but I'm on my second coffee now." Then ask, "How about you?"
That does feel more human, but I still worry people need more personality.
Personality shows up in the details you choose, not only in jokes. Saying you slept well, ran late, or almost missed the bus, that's personality in motion.
So you're saying ordinary details are enough to sound real?
Often, yes. And if you're at a party, you can chime in with one detail from the shared moment instead of trying to dominate it.
I like that idea, but what if I join in too late? Then I feel awkward again.
Then you go along with what's already there. If they're laughing, you smile and add a light comment. If they're talking about work, you follow that thread a little.
So I'm not forcing a new topic. I'm entering the one that's already open.
Exactly. That's why this is less about being brilliant and more about being useful.
Useful sounds almost unglamorous.
Maybe, but useful gets invited back. Brilliant and weird can be a one-time guest.
Oof, that's a bit rude, but fair.
Let's pressure test your side. If someone says, "Nice weather," and you answer with a polished joke every time, that can feel repetitive.
True, and repetition makes people tune out.
So the real skill is flexibility. Sometimes you keep it light, sometimes you add one detail, sometimes you simply wrap up cleanly.
Hold on. Wrap up? You're already thinking about the exit?
Of course, good small talk doesn't drag. It opens, moves, and closes without panic.
That part matters more than I thought. If the ending is clumsy, the whole exchange feels heavier.
Exactly. A smooth exit protects the good feeling. You don't need to trap the other person in conversation just to prove you can continue.
So the win isn't endless talking. It's clean connection.
That's the whole debate, really. You want impact. I want ease.
And maybe the best version has both. A little spark, a little detail, and a calm exit.
That's the sweet spot. Not a speech, not a tiny shrug, just enough movement to keep the door open.
And enough confidence to not panic when the answer is only 6 words long.
Right? Because 6 words can still do a lot of work.
And that is exactly why the next part matters, because we're about to turn these ideas into the actual phrases you can steal tonight.
So we've seen the problem, the pressure, and the debate. Now it's time to pull the useful phrases out of the story.
Exactly. These 5 expressions aren't random vocabulary. They're the tools that made the conversation move.
We use them to start smoothly, stay relaxed, join in naturally, and leave without that awkward freeze.
And in the word tour, we'll slow them down, one by one, with real examples.
So, when we talked about that office kitchen moment, the first move wasn't a fancy sentence, it was just knowing how to break the ice without making it weird.
Right? Break the ice means you lower the social tension a little so the conversation can start moving. It's not about being brilliant, it's about making the first minute feel safe.
Picture this, you're in a queue and the person next to you says, "Long line today." If you answer, "Yeah, terrible," That's okay. But if you add, I've got time to overthink my whole life now, you've already broken the ice with humor.
That works because it sounds human. You're not performing, you're just opening the door a crack.
And once the door is open, you often want to keep it light.
Exactly. Keep it light means don't pile on heavy topics unless the other person invites that. You stay easy, relaxed, and social.
So if someone asks, "How's your day going?" you might say, "Busy, but I've survived on coffee and determination." That's light, and it gives them something easy to answer.
Compare that with a full complaint about your inbox. One keeps the air breathable. The other turns the chat into a rescue mission.
A rescue mission sounds dramatic for a checkout line.
Exactly. An English small talk doesn't need drama to work.
Then there's chime in. I love this one because it sounds musical, and honestly, that's the right feeling.
Chime in means join the conversation with a small, natural contribution. You don't need the floor forever. Just a clean little entrance.
In a group chat at a party, someone says, "We should plan a trip someday." You can chime in with, "I'd be in for that," or "That sounds fun." Where would you go?
That's great because you're not hijacking the topic. You're adding momentum.
And that's a useful contrast with staying silent because you think your line has to be perfect.
Perfect lines usually arrive too late. A simple chime in keeps you in the flow.
Now, go along with is a little different. It's about following the tone or the direction that's already there.
Yes, if they're being playful, you go along with the playfulness. If they're calm, you go along with the calm. You're not fighting the current.
So, if a coworker jokes, "This meeting should have been an email," you could smile and say, "Honestly, that email would have been shorter and kinder."
Nice. You go along with the joke instead of turning into the meeting police.
Exactly. And if someone shares a small complaint, you can go along with the mood by saying, "Yeah, that was a long one," without making it bigger than it is.
That's a very social skill. You're not forcing a new energy. You're matching the one already in the room.
Then comes wrap up. A lot of learners forget this part, but a clean ending matters.
Wrap up means you close the exchange smoothly. You don't slam the door, and you don't keep the chat alive forever.
So after a short exchange, you might say, "Nice talking to you. I should get back to work."
Or, "Good seeing you. I'll let you get on with your day." That's a polite wrap-up.
Notice the pattern in all 5?
Yeah. Start gently, stay light, add a little, follow the tone, then close well.
And that's why these expressions matter. They don't just help you say more English. They help you manage the shape of the conversation.
Which is the real skill, honestly. Not just words. Timing, tone, and exit.
Let's do one quick mini scene. Someone says, "Rough morning?" You say, "A bit, but I'm okay now." That can break the ice.
Then you keep it light with, "I just need more coffee than dignity today."
Next, you chime in with, "How's your morning going?"
If they joke back, you go along with it. Then you wrap up with, "Anyway, good to see you."
That's the whole flow. Small, natural, and very usable.
And if you want to sound more natural fast, these are the 5 moves to practice first.
So there you have it. Small talk isn't about becoming the funniest person in the room.
It's about catching the clue, adding one small detail, and letting the other person breathe too.
We talked about that awful little blank out, the pressure to sound clever, and the way a tiny answer can still open a real conversation.
And we turned that into a simple habit. Answer, add, ask. That's the whole engine.
Here are 3 things to try right away. First, when someone asks a small question, don't stop at one word. Add one detail.
Second, listen for the tone. If they're playful, be playful. If they're calm, Stay calm. That keeps the exchange smooth.
Third, practice a clean exit. You don't have to trap yourself in a long chat just to prove you can speak.
A simple, nice talking to you can do a lot of heavy lifting.
I still remember one morning in a cafe when I answered a barista with almost nothing, and the silence felt enormous.
I've done the same thing, and I looked far too serious for someone holding a croissant.
The change came when I stopped watching myself so hard and started watching the other person more closely.
That shift is huge. Once you focus on their clue, you don't freeze as much.
So next time someone says, busy day, try, yeah, but I finally slept well, or a bit, but I'm okay now.
Then ask, how about you? Or, have you been busy lately? Small move, big difference.
Before you go, we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments what small talk situation makes you freeze the fastest.
We read every single comment. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
And next time, we might dig into a related topic. How to sound natural when you're agreeing, disagreeing, or shifting a conversation without awkwardness.
That one connects nicely with today's lesson because the same social rhythm shows up everywhere.